Hi guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Moulding Bench. Welcome back to the channel. Another update for you. This is an update on an update. It's the 10th of January 2024. I did the last update, which you probably have seen, well, very late last night, early this morning. So it's really the same day. I'm just following up because some comments have been made in the chat. I've had some emails, I've got some news, and basically just wanted to clarify a few things because I obviously wasn't clear in my descriptions and I don't want to mislead anyone. So first things first, somebody commented in the chat, in the comments, that they were pleased to see that I was being positive about Airfix's releases because they'd seen so much negativity online. When you're talking Airfix, it's very difficult when it comes to negativity because Airfix have a funny kind of reputation. There are fanboys out there that if Airfix boxed a 1960s kit of a Spitfire and it was full of sink marks, ejector pin marks, short shots, rubbish decals, wrong colour callouts, you know, everything wrong with it, there are people that would say, wow, it's awesome because it's Airfix and look at it, they've re-released this 1960s classic, it's awesome. Yeah, and obviously we know that that's just like, no. There are also people out there that if Airfix released a 1/24 scale, absolutely perfectly to scale, perfectly riveted detail, perfect fitting, beautifully instruction manual, cartograph decals Corsair with all opening panels and fully detailed undercarriage and fully detailed engine and a motor to drive the propeller and everything in it, yeah, and it was $39.99, there are people out there who would say it's crap because it's Airfix. And this unfortunately is something they have to deal with. Well, they don't have to deal with it, they just have to live with it. And you have to sort of take yourself down that road. I think you also have to remember that they're generally, and I'm probably going to get shot down for this, generally I think particularly in the UK we can be quite negative. Like if you think about cars, Audi TT, Mazda MX-5, any variant of it, in the rest of the world, both fantastic sports cars, both of them. Over here, hairdresser's car. Yeah, rubbish, hairdresser's car. So, I mean, I think it is starting to wane a little bit now, but I've had 3 MX-5s in my time, and the stick I've got for having them, you know, absolutely unbelievable. But it's, you know, years ago, when you had the NA, the first one, because they're not, people call them Mark 1s, they're not Mark 1s, it's an NA, NB, NC, and then you've got the facelifts and that as well. But personally, I think the NA was the best one. And when that was out, it was absolutely the best little, you know, soft top sports car you could get. It was absolutely amazing. Yes, they used to rust a bit, but the handling and stuff, and, you know, you could have so much fun for such a little car. But no, in the UK, it's hairdresser's car. So, you know, you can't win. And also remember as well, generally human nature, people will love to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. They will sort of generally not want to tell you what you're doing is good. So the people out there that are thinking, wow, Airfix's new releases are great, they're probably not saying anything, but there are plenty of people out there grumbling. So don't worry about it. I mean, they've announced 7 new tools yesterday in one day. Yes, 4 of them are starter sets, 6 of them are 1/72 scale. But there's a 1/72 scale B24, a 1/72 scale Chinook, and a 1/48 scale Bristol Bulldog coming, and they all look absolutely gorgeous. And if they are anything like the Sea King and the Gannet, then I don't know about the 410, I haven't got it, but I hear it's absolutely awesome. If those 3 kits are anything like the Sea King and the Gannet, they are going to be a joy to build, and they're going to be beautiful. Okay, so I'm currently building this Damster Lancaster from Airfix as a sort of newbie build, and I'm loving it. It's going together beautifully, even though it is the old blue tack plastic and the panel lining is a bit heavy, but hey, we'll sort that out. So yeah, so don't worry, You know, it's just people, and there's going to be more to come. Airfix will have probably at least 2 new announcements come on. I mean, it's like the Sea King was out of the blue. We knew the Gannet was coming. Nobody knew the 410 was coming. So they'll probably do the same again this year. And if you watch Moss's live yesterday, where Dale and Matt came on, I think it was Moss asked Matt the question, so what projects have you been working on? And Dale was like, oh, careful, don't say anything. So obviously there is more stuff in the pipeline. So the fact they've announced a load of 72nd scale stuff now means there's probably 48th, maybe even 24th scale stuff coming. I don't know why they don't do 32nd. Can you imagine if they downsized their 124th Hellcat to 132nd? The whole world would go mad for it, because the 24th scale Hellcat is a beautiful, beautiful kit. There's no denying it. If they sized it down to 132nd, we would finally have a nice 132nd scale Hellcat. Because, you know, the old Hasegawa one is all raised panel lines and everything. It's just not very nice. The Trumpeter one, the fuselage is all out of shape and everything. The engine and the gearbox is a mess, isn't it? But, you know, it'd be so nice to have a nice Hellcat. So, yeah, wait and see. Watch this space. Damster poll. I've actually put the post up now, asking the question of which one you would like. It only allows me to have 5 options in the poll, so I've put 5, like AJC, AJE, AJG, AJT and W, I think I've put in there. So you can select one of those, but also if they're not one of the 19 aircraft that you want to select, I thought there were 18. I learned today there's 19, so thank you for that. Can't remember what your name was now, I'm sorry. But yeah, so if you want a different one, just put your name, just write it underneath in the comments. Please just put like AJO or AJL or whatever. Please don't like give me a long description and everything. If you want to, that's fine, but it's so much easier when it comes to the end of it. I'm expecting hundreds of comments, and it'd be so much easier to count it up if it's just the code there. And then basically the reason we're doing this is because One Man Army around about mid-February is going to start working on a new mass set that should fit the border and the HK models Dambuster, and then we will have you guys can choose what options come in that set. There's going to be 4 or 6 options for the serial codes and the squadron codes that go in there. So you will get the correct ED code that goes with the AJ code as well, because they were all ED aircraft. They were all Mark IIIs with needle props and twin blisters and yeah. And all that good stuff. And also on the note of Dambuster Lancasters, I still haven't heard from Hachette. It's been a mixed bag. I sort of mentioned this morning in the update that, you know, I bought part 1. I may well buy part 2. I'm waiting to. I've asked them if they would like to sponsor a build on this channel and supply the sets every 2 weeks or whatever it is, and then I'll build it online for you guys to see. But I know the wings look a bit funny, and I know it's a bit sort of toy-like compared to the border models Lancaster, but I just really, really fancy it. It's sat on a stand over the dams. You know, it just looks great, or over the dam, not the dams. It just looks great, and I really want to do it. And I may even buy the parts. If they don't want to, you know, sponsor me, then I might buy the parts and do it. But we shall see. Some of you are like, oh, don't bother. Some of you are like, yeah, do it. And some are like, take it or leave it, you know. So but thank you for your comments. It's great to hear your opinions and what you guys are thinking. It's always good to know what you're thinking. Looking at this here, I need to change this display as well. This has been here for years. I need to have a bit of a sort out here. I think we'll get rid of the B-52s, and I think we'll get rid of the helicopters, and I think we might have a big bomber squadron there or something. Let's see. And I really want to keep those there as well, because they're very interesting. So because they're all sort of, well, except for the HS-129, but certainly the 219, that's Lancaster's biggest enemy, wasn't it? And the 229 would have been as well if anything had come of that. So it's funny that, isn't it? 129, 229, 219. And of course we've got the FW-190 now as well, so that could also join them, because that was also a big enemy of the B-17s, wasn't it? And the Lancasters, I guess. So yeah, so Humber back from Hachette. So there we go. On the note of I said about this nose for the Lancasters, I I asked if anybody's got one that they've started or damaged, or they just want to sell off cheap or whatever, to please let me know. I wasn't sort of scrounging for one, and I wasn't asking anyone to buy one for me. I was just, rather than go and spend the money and buy one myself, because I don't want to cut that one up because Wendy gave me that. But rather than go and buy one myself, what I was hoping to do was get one sort of, you know, part built, started, whatever, like I say, damaged, and get it cheaper than full retail. And then Annie came along and said, let me buy you one. You know, I'll buy, at the end of the month, I want to buy you one, you know, sort of thing. So Annie is now sort of pledged that she's going to buy me one at the end of the month. But I don't want to take her money. I you know, so I've spoken to the importer, and I've asked if they've got anything damaged, you know, missing parts, whatever. As long as it's not too bad, then I can get over that. So I haven't heard back from them yet. As of, what is it now? It's 7:15 on the 10th, so I'm not going to hear anything today, but I may hear something tomorrow. And also Andy has been in touch and said, you know, he's got one that he's willing to sort of sell to me, and he sent me some photographs, and I did reply, thank you, Andy, it was really nice of you to offer, but I was asking for something that was started. Yours is nearly finished. All you got to do is put the glazing on, and it looks lovely. I don't know why you don't finish it. But thank you very much for the offer, but it's a bit too far. I'm really looking for something that somebody started painting or something, or maybe they've glued the pedestal to the cockpit floor or something like that. You know, nothing too much, something that I can just use as is, or as a kit rather than a finished model. So so there we go. So yeah, Annie has come through and said she wants to buy me one at the end of the month, which I really don't want to spend that much money. It's not fair. So we shall see. It's a shame that Robert Rojowski, if you saw my Grand Slam review I did, what, last week was it, or the week before, I got some parts out of that set and showed you. I've also linked in the bottom, in the description below the video, I've linked the full review of that set. It is absolutely stunning. It is a 3D printed, he calls it cockpit, but it's really just the sort of pedestal that the pilot sits on. So you've got the seat, all the pipe work and all the controls down to the right of the pilot and everything, and it really is beautiful. You have to use an Airscale or Edward cockpit set with it, but or I guess you could use the Quintus Studios one as well, because it has no fascia for the instrument panel. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. But if you think back a few weeks ago, Jadlan were doing that kit there for 85 quid, and the Robert Mrozowski one was like 50 quid plus the postage and that, you know, and possibly VAT because it came from America. 85 quid for all of that is a bargain if I can make it fit, because you're going to get, not only are you going to get the pedestal there, you're going to get the complete cockpit, the navigator's table, all the detail down the sides. You're going to get the radio, the wireless operator's table, all the detail down in the sides by the wireless operator, right back down to, you're going to get the main spar. You're going to get all the nose interior and all of the front turret, which is absolutely stunning on the Border Models kit. The turret is beautiful, and it's also slightly pointier nosed than the Hong Kong Models kit. And I kind of have to think that the Border Models kit is correct in that area, because they have genuine turrets that have been borrowed from Planes of Fame. Is it Planes of Fame? Whatever. It's, what's his name? I can't think of his name now, but I'm sure a million people will tell me in the comments down below. So yeah, so it's sort of slightly pointier nosed, but you've got all the options of the different glazing in the Border Models kit, which you don't have in the Hong Kong Models kit. And yeah, it's just going to be amazing if we can get it all to fit. That'll be really, really good. So yeah, so that's that for the Dambuster stuff. As I say, get yourself on that poll and get your opinion in. I've also had somebody has commented today that they said, and I've also had somebody email me, they've heard that HANNANTs are going bust. They're going to administration. They are not. It's totally fictional. If you see anybody talking on any forums or anywhere about HANNANTs going bust, please correct them. I've emailed Nigel today at HANNANTs. They are not going to administration. What it is, wires have been crossed. It's Hattons, not HANNANTs. Hattons of Liverpool are closing their shop. I don't believe they're closing their business. I don't know what's happening with Hattons, but I do know that HANNANTs are not closing. But I believe Hattons are closing their shop They may be carrying on with an online business, I don't know. But yeah, Hattans are up in Liverpool. Apparently they are closing their shop and people are getting wires crossed. It's not Hannants. Hannants are not closing down, okay? So as I say, if you see that anywhere, please correct them straight away, because that'll just spread like wildfire and everybody be online expecting bargains and stuff. Saying that, there are some bloody good bargains on Hannants at the moment, so go and have a little search through there. The other thing I want to talk about, getting it wrong. I commented last night that people are telling me I'm doing things wrong on my channel, and they're putting in the comments, and they're not sort of telling me that I'm doing it wrong. They're telling my viewers, you know, warning, they're doing this wrong. And a lot of people have taken that the wrong way. Maybe I didn't explain it well enough, I'm sorry. But it's not so much people saying, you know, you're doing this wrong, you're using the wrong paint, you're using airbrush, you shouldn't be dry brushing, you shouldn't be doing it. It's not that. It's like, I've been thinking about this and how best to explain it. Let's just say I'm building a model of a Japanese sports car, okay? And the standard car has an exhaust that comes out of the engine, goes into a silencer, and then runs along the floor of the car and out the back underneath the rear bumper. But in the kit, they give you the option to have a sports exhaust. And the sports exhaust has 2 tailpipes and a silencer across the back under the rear bumper. And generally it has a bit of pipe coming out the front, and it will join on to the standard exhaust system at some point. So in the kit, they tell you to cut the standard exhaust system off about halfway along. They give you a measurement where there's a mark there or something, and then you actually join your sports exhaust to the standard exhaust at that point. What's happening is, this is like somebody coming along and saying, urgent, don't do what he's doing, you shouldn't cut the exhaust off, the exhaust goes all the way to the back. They clearly haven't watched the video, they clearly don't know why I'm cutting the exhaust off, and they clearly shouldn't be telling everybody not to listen to what I'm doing because I'm doing it wrong. That's what I'm talking about. It's not people generalizing saying I'm doing it wrong. That's just people's opinion, and that's absolutely fine, okay? That is human nature. There are people that will say, you know, Nigel, I don't understand why you use LP paints over Tamiya XF. It's a lacquer paint, it's far more hazardous, and it dries so much faster. I much prefer the XF. Okay? Another person will get exactly the same message across. They say, why are you using LP paints? They're crap. It's the same, it's the same end result, it's the same comment, just put across in 2 different ways. So so there we go. And it's the same as, you know, Lancaster noses. I've done this green because I believe it should be green. There are people out there that will say it's black, and there are people that will say, I think you'll find it's black. I've got a document here that shows a photograph of a Lancaster from 1943, and it has a black nose interior. That's what I'm interested in. Prove me wrong, and categorically prove me wrong. Not something your granddad told you, not something you saw in a book, not a CAD drawing or an image or a painting. Show me a photograph of an aircraft in 1943 or Lancaster in 1943 that's got a black nose. That's what I want to see. And I want to know when they changed to black, because I know that some of them, I'm going off course here, some of them were oversprayed black and some of them were done black in the factory. There are photographs on Google and you can actually see where they've masked off the windows and just painted the inside of the nose black, and you can see the overspray over everything, all the cables, the wires, everything is painted black. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, part 3 of the Airfix Damster Lancaster build, I go into it in depth with photographs and everything, and I also give you a time point, so if you want to flick over that, you can just flick forward and not have to listen to me waffling on about that old garbage again. The other thing I wasn't clear about, Steve put a message in the comments and you'll see it. He said you should never use photos for color referencing. I should have explained that. What I was using when I was talking about photos for color referencing, I was talking about like with your Lancaster nose. If you see a picture of a Lancaster nose and it's black and white, it is clearly black or green. Okay, there is, I mean, it might be light grey, but you can definitely tell the difference between black and interior green. Never, ever use photographs for a shade of colour. Yes, if a photograph shows you something's red, something's blue, something's green, something's yellow, absolutely fine. But don't ever argue about the colour of a roundel on a Spitfire from a photograph, because two exactly same photographs on two different channels will show two completely different colours. And if you want to see an example of what I mean, go and take a look at, put in Google Images, MiG-23 cockpit. They are all the same colour. They are that beautiful sort of apple green colour, that emerald green that the Russians use. It's gorgeous, a gorgeous colour. And you look at all these photographs, and some of them look positively grey, and some of them look like bloody Bristol buses, bright green. You know, don't use photographs for colours. And that's what I should have said. What I was saying was, you know, if you want to prove that in 1939 HMS Hood had grey or black funnels, clearly the photograph will show you from 1939 whether it had grey or black funnels. Okay, you can't tell what shade of grey it is, but you can tell if it's not black. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm sorry I wasn't clear there, but I want to clarify that, and I've clarified that, and I thank Steve for making that comment. And just finally, before I go, I've had an email from De Agostini. We are back on with the Mustang. The Mustang is coming back, the 1/6 scale. I have had a email showing me the next 3 parts that are coming. So that'll be parts 6, 7, and 8. Well, it's the 3rd pack. And yeah, they're very, very simple parts. There's not a lot to them. It's going to be very, very difficult to make an interesting video about how to assemble it, because it's just bang, 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 it's going to be done. But we can have a good look at the magazines and everything, can't we? So there we go. So if I hear anything from Hachette, I'll let you know. If you know anybody who works at Hachette, please give them a nudge, because I'd love them to give me one, and I'll build it. Yeah, stay tuned for the De Agostini build. And also stay tuned, at some point in the very near future, we will be chopping up one of those. And we're going to chop up a Hong Kong Models Lancaster as well, and see if we can get it all to fit. Be a bit of fun, won't it, eh? How to waste money. That'll be £520 worth of kit. But for those that want to modify the interior of their Hong Kong Models Lancaster and make it really pop, then I think it's going to be worth doing. And if I can make it work easily, so you literally just take a slice and glue it on and it all fits inside, then why wouldn't you do it? You know. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon. Plus, I'm just thinking, the retail of that kit is like £400. If you can get that kit, which I see them all the time, for about 280, then it makes that free, doesn't it? So you can buy that and your Hong Kong Models kit for the same price as the Hong Kong Models kit would cost you retail, and you've got a super detailed Hong Kong Models Lancaster. There we go. So I will see you all very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.